What do Billy Evans, Caroline Ellison, and the Tinder Swindler's many victims have in common? They all fell in love with charismatic but ethically challenged individuals. But why do many of us fall in this trap? If you're interested in this question, welcome to a deep dive. If not, thank you for clicking on this video, but I refuse to let you go just yet. In fact, consider this your kidnap. So let's get into it. Most of us tend to believe what we want to believe. We want to feel good most of the time. We don't want to get our feelings hurt. And there are people out there who are pretty good at getting us to believe stuff. It is singularly true that great communicators are usually the most powerful people in the world. Charismatic people know how to read others and hold people in the palm of their hands. I may be oversimplifying things, but there are 3 types of great communicators out there. The first kind communicate to help all of us. Think Martin Luther King Jr. or Susan B. Anthony. The second kind communicate to help some of us. Think, well, basically every brutal dictator of the last 150 years. But the third kind doesn't get enough attention in my opinion. The great communicators who communicate in order to help themselves and only themselves. And in that third category lies the con artist. A con artist is a person who tricks you into buying into something, knowing you won't get whatever it is you bought. A con artist scams you. Scams are also called confidence games or confidence tricks. A confidence trick is when a con artist earns a victim's trust in order to rob them. And so the con in con artist is short for confidence. Even though con artists have been around probably since the earliest human beings were around, the modern phrase is likely traced back to a one William Thompson from the 1840s. See, Thompson would trick rich people into giving him their valuables. He'd get all dressed up and walk up to a rich guy pretending to know him. After talking for a while, Thompson would gain the rich guy's trust and then, for example, proceed to ask the rich guy if he'd be confident enough to let Thompson borrow his valuable watch. After taking the watch, Thompson would abruptly leave with it. After, James Houston, a reporter for the New York Herald, found out about Thompson. He called him a confidence man, as he had appealed to the victim's confidence, so the name conman stuck. But women can be cons too. Why do we fall for con artists when you know of their existence? Thompson's first victims didn't know about him. What about those of us who've grown up hearing of confidence games and still fall for them? You may well be thinking, not me. I would never fall for a con. Well, I've got bad news for you. We all fall for con artists. Every last single one of us. Even you. Yes, even your mother. It is crucial we take note of our fallibility because we are living in the golden age of con artists. The internet, specifically social media algorithms and artificial intelligence, has made it easier to scam people today than ever before. It's gotten so bad that some of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world are nothing more than con artists. They've even worked their way into governments. So here are the 5 biggest reasons why we fall for con artists. The first biggest reason is we are struggling. Well, most of us are. Most of us suffer from scarcity. We don't have enough time or money. We aren't happy with our relationships. Too many of us are lonely. We all are walking around with this existential dread. No purpose. Just existing from day to day can be hard. And so when someone appears out of nowhere saying they have all the answers and they know how to make us happy, we're often vulnerable to believe them. And the con artist preys on vulnerable people. People in despair. And of course, since we believe what we want to believe, we're usually ripe for the picking. The second reason is we are biased to assume that others are telling the truth. Yes, even strangers. Psychologists even have a name for this. It's called the truth bias. Humans want to believe others, even if all the evidence shows that we shouldn't believe them. You might be thinking, isn't that not good? But yes, it's generally a good thing to trust others by default. This truth bias allows society to run smoothly and helps us get along with each other. Imagine if we didn't have a truth bias. We'd spend way too much time verifying information provided by others. It would be difficult to make new friends. There would probably be a lot more wars. Still though, that also just means that truth bias gives con artists an automatic advantage. They can lie and a person just assumes they are telling the truth because they almost always assume a person is telling the truth. The third reason is we are emotional beings. We are simply wired to make most decisions based on emotion, not based on any sort of rational thinking. Emotions rule over us and control our life. And if facts get in the way of our emotions almost always win, especially if those facts threaten our values, beliefs, or identity. If you want to get someone's attention and keep their attention, what do? You tap into their emotions. Why do you think we use emojis so much? I mean, emo became an entire identity for crying out loud. Psychologists argue that us being emotional creatures is actually a good thing. If not for us being emotional, we'd overanalyze dangerous situations in which we needed to react immediately. Our emotions help us connect with each other faster. They motivate us to do pretty much anything. Our emotions help us survive and thrive. Unfortunately for us, con artists exploit our emotional triggers to manipulate us. They are good at getting us excited. They make us scared or give us hope. The fourth reason is we are ignorant. Yeah, no offense, but all of us are idiots. I'm probably the biggest idiot of all. Because we're all just trying to survive, it's difficult for us to keep up with the various ways con artists scam us. We don't have time to research every scam. We don't have time to research every person trying to sell us something. If they come at us with what looks like legit credentials, we kind of feel pressured to assume those credentials are as good as they say. Okay, but really, the biggest reason by far is con artists are just really good at tricking us. The first person the con artist has to trick is himself. Contrary to popular belief, con artists often believe their own bull crap.
She doesn't think she defrauded anyone or lied to anyone. She believes in the technology and believed, one day, potentially if she had more time, she would have changed the world, and wants to try to do that when she gets out.
After all, selling a scam is much easier if you believe in what it promises you solve. After that, the con artist has to learn how to communicate so that a bunch of people will listen to them and trust them. And so, a skilled con artist has to be charismatic. Keep in mind that charisma has many different flavors, which explains why most con artists have a limit to the amount of followers they can trick. At a certain point, charisma only gets a con artist so far, and if you don't deliver any tangible benefits, the normies will lose interest. But for the people who have already fallen in love with a con artist, tangible benefits don't really even matter that much. Being a part of the community is more important. And yes, some of you are probably already thinking about this right now, but con artists often lead cults. A con artist's main fuel is confidence. A con artist rarely apologizes. They seemingly perform magic, or something that feels like magic. They bring back childhood wonder. They make people feel like they woke up from a long bad dream. They provide genuine hope. A con artist often gives actual advice and actual help. A skilled con artist also knows how to find customers, who again are really just victims. The skilled con artist sees the small people those in power don't see. They take advantage of the fact that many people are unseen, or at least feel unseen. They earn your trust by telling you what you want to hear. And a skilled con artist truly listens to the customers. They make the customer feel loved and appreciated, so much that customers will begin competing for the con artist's love in return. Again, a lot of overlap with cults. In fact, some of these customers eventually become soldiers. A skilled con artist sows doubt on long-established narratives to make their followers feel more special. A skilled con artist can gaslight you, meaning they can trick you so well that they convince you that they did the thing they originally promised to do but never actually did. Think Elizabeth Holmes marrying Billy Evans in the middle of her trial and having kids with him. He's a trust fund baby and didn't really need to get in with her, but now he's out in the world collecting money to keep her scam alive on her behalf while she serves time.
Holmes saying, quote, "It's been hell and torture to be here." Holmes revealing there's not a day that she hasn't continued working on her research and inventions from behind bars, saying that she's committed to her dream of making affordable healthcare solutions available to everyone.
Think the WeWork founder Adam Neumann, who still has managed to obtain millions more in funding despite how he effed up his previous funders. Think the guy who always seems to get girls despite being a pathological liar. Think the person who just slid into your DMs promising you a job that pays too much for too little work. I personally like getting money out of those ones before blocking them. We all seem to have such a weakness for confidence and charisma. Bill Clinton got into so many scandals, but many still flock to him. The only explanation I could find was, you have to meet him to truly understand. From what I gathered, Bill Clinton remembers normal people's names and has even continued disrupted conversations years later. Imagine a whole president remembering your name and what you're trying to tell him years ago before the Secret Service interrupted. If that isn't intoxicating, I don't know what is. Now, as skilled as con artists are, they still have plenty of weaknesses. Con artists often have narcissistic personality disorder. They demand loyalty. They show little humility. If they do show humility, it's strategic. Con artists control their own history. They don't like journalists or historians digging around in their past. They know that if journalists or historians scrutinize them, they'll eventually lose credibility. A con artist can only thrive with co-conspirators. Rarely do they pull it off on their own. And almost inevitably, these co-conspirators will turn on each other at some point down the line. Fortunately for us, con artists often get arrested for fraud or some form of law breaking. After all, why should they care if they're breaking the law? The way they see it, the law doesn't matter to them, unless they know how to commit crimes that skirt the edge of legality, like Adam Neumann or the Tinder swindler. In the end, the con artist wants your money and they want as much of it as possible and nothing else. Sooner or later though, people run out of money to give them, which is when they disappear and leave them in peace. That said, con artists may never lose power unless we learn to gather our hearts and loins. Okay, so this might accidentally be an instructional video for some 15-year-old waiting to be a con artist one day. But I promise you, this video is not meant for them. It's meant for the good people out there looking to protect the show. In conclusion, the con artist promises a fake future. A future they can't deliver on and more importantly, can't be held accountable for. If there's just one thing you get out of this video, I hope it's this. Con artists only want to help themselves. They are a threat to humanity itself. If they're not stopped, they will destroy us all. Again, I think we're living in the golden age of con artists. Unfortunately, there are not enough charismatic people out there warning about the dangers of con artists. After all, there are far bigger incentives for charismatic people to just become con artists themselves. In fact, there's a really good chance you currently trust at least one con artist. So it's never been more important to teach our kids and our aging parents these things. And before you start thinking yourself infallible, stop and remember the wise words from that Redditor. You have to meet them to truly understand. But what do you think? Do you disagree with me about us living in a golden age of con artists? Or have you been conned yourself? I'm curious to know your stories. Thanks for staying curious. And now this is where I let go of those I horribly captured. Bye!